order. City of Harvey regular city council meeting, Monday, February 24th, 2020. It is now 8:22 p.m. Clerk, please call roll call of the council members.
Alderwoman Gruinski.
Present.
Alderman Tolbert. Alderman Cruda. Alderman Key.
Present.
Alderman Randall L.
Present.
Alderman Rogers.
Present.
Mayor Clark.
Present. Okay, next we're on the agenda, we have an invocation and the pledge of allegiance. Pastor Lewis, would you please grace us in the invocation.
Shall we pray? O Lord our God, again, how excellent is thy name in all of the earth. We petition your presence here, honoring you, especially for your sovereignty. We pray, dear God, that you would continue to reign supreme, for you are God everywhere, not just in City Hall, but even here in this auditorium. You are still God. And we pray, dear God, that you would govern our goings, so much so that we are guided by your Spirit. For your word teaches us that where your Spirit is, there is liberty. I pray, dear God, that you would liberate us from any spirit and every spirit that is contrary to the glory of your name and the good and the advancement of the city. We pray your choicest blessings upon our elected officials and this august body. We desire you and we look to you in all things. Lead us and guide us, and we will follow you. Forever in your name we pray and ask it all. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor, it's brought to my attention that the portion of the meeting that requires public comment for 3 minutes, there was no public comment sheet put available for some of the residents to fill out. And I'd like to take a motion on the floor that we extend public comment to 30 minutes. First come, first serve, 2 minutes per person.
Where?
30 minutes, it's already 30 minutes.
And then extend it another 15 minutes.
There's a motion to extend public comment to an additional 15 minutes. You want to make it 16 so it'll be even 2 minutes per person?
Sounds good.
16 minutes, 2 minutes per person, first come, first serve.
Yes, sir.
I need a second.
A second.
Second from, so motion by the sixth, second by the first. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Gruinski.
Yes.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Cruda. Alderman Randall L.
Yes.
Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderman Tolbert.
Yes.
Y'all speak up, please.
Okay. Also, I'd like to announce that Alderman Quentin Cruda isn't present due to his recovery from the surgery, so he wanted to make sure that the Alderman would do that.
The mic is coming now.
Oh, it's coming now? Okay, great. Alderman Tolbert came in at 8:25.
I'd like to, just another point of order, if it's okay?
We have a, wait, that's work? It is work. Come up or what? Yeah. Okay, first, came up to see first on the list and comment sheet is Elvin Harris, followed by Ruby J. Donahue. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening, the Honorable Mayor Clark and the audience, and also the council, and the audience and my neighbors. I'm here tonight because I want to express concerns that each and every one of us should be concerned about. Our elected officials are supposed to represent the, excuse me, I'm talking over talking. These elected officials are supposed to support the Ware Fee and the city of Harvey residents. If the choices are, should they represent other interests or should they represent the interests of the citizens of Harvey? I have 40 years invested in the city. I'm also an elected official. I think we ought to hold these elected officials to the fire and represent us. And about that growing, they don't have a telephone number on that on those garbage trucks. They need a phone number so citizens could call and say when their garbage is not picked up. And I think that each and every one of you, I'm glad to see you out. You need to come to the Harvey Public Library where you've elected me as trustee since 2015 and have the faces I've never seen before. You need to come. Your tax dollars go there to serve you. Thank you. My name is William Harris.
Ruby Donahue, followed by Philanda Lewis.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ruby Donahue. I've been a citizen of Harvey for over 51 years, and I'm very pleased to see that there's so many concerned people about what is happening here in our city. I have in my hand a list of people that I actually want to retain this, the 12 o'clock curfew for the selling of liquor here in Harvey. I'm sure there'll be some more constituents that will follow me that will also be in favor of retaining that curfew. I'm going to read them as rapidly as possible since we all have a limited time. Mr. and Mrs. Clarence Hall, Dorothy Burks, Mary Jennings, Mary Fay, Wardell Johnson, Leola Smith, Jacqueline Wilson, Eugene Karen, Sahira Sheriff, Carol Wilson, Mr. and Mrs. Warren Salisbury, Lola Cook, Gloria Johnson, Laura Bell, Barbara Welcher, Mr. and Mrs. Mazurk Irvin, Franny Eccles, Mr. and Mrs. Melville King, Mr. and Mrs. Ike Randall, Irene Fitton, Flora Patterson, Kenneth Henderson, Sandra Mayer, Francis Hughes, and Mr. and Mrs. Allen Mahone. And I want to thank you for your attention.
Good evening, everyone.
Hold on, we're out of order. Philanda Lewis next. I don't know, but we're gonna see it. Sit down. Philanda Lewis, followed by Melville King Jr.
To the Honorable Mayor, aldermen, alderpersons, and elected officials, I am Philanda Lewis. I am the senior pastor of the New Mount Olive Church. Been there for 34 years, but the in that capacity of 40 years plus, working here in this city, and trying to do everything to help the city to advance. I'm here on behalf of the faith leaders here in our city to express vehemently that, one, we're not taking any sides, but we are standing strong on the side that has taken us. The only side that we are on is the side of our Lord. It is the side of righteousness, which might surprise some people exactly what that means. Not religion, not right, but righteousness. Righteousness as defined by God himself. A righteousness that decrees to us that once again, when the righteous are in control, the city rejoices. That's scripture. When the righteous are in control, the city rejoices. We are here to submit and to suggest, if I take my seat here, to suggest to you that and remind you that as a righteous community, we stand unapologetically, we stand visibly to make sure that this community knows that we are on the front line to make sure that whatever happens in the city has to be filtered through the filter of righteousness. Amen. Thank you so much. We have several pastors and church leaders, and not just church leaders, but faith leaders who are standing with us, and people of God who will stand with us, not just tonight, but for days and time to come. Thank you so much.
King Jr., followed by Sharika Gaston, I think.
How many here live in Harvey? How many here don't live in Harvey? Why are Harvey residents being controlled by outside sources? Outside influence over our elected officials, because the Harvey people who voted had a hard election and we didn't vote for garbage.
You employed us?
First,
Are you employed?
we have an increase in crime when we have problems like that. After midnight, I saw it go down. I'm sleeping better at night. My wife is sleeping better. Even my dogs are sleeping better. I have less people running around in the middle of the night looking for drugs to buy, asking, is this the place to go when the girls are? We don't need that. The city's aesthetic value has diminished since this has been going on. For 12 years, we've suffered this thing. If you haven't done something for us in 12 years, what can you do for us now? A negative attraction of families moving into Harvey, it stifles our growth. The negative attraction of home ownership. Who wants to buy in Harvey if you're afraid to live in it? Depleting tax base is going down. Negative attraction to business. Negative effect on the tax revenue. Your value of your property is down. And an outside influence financially abusing our city. Negative effects on the city's ability to render services to the community. Negative effect on Harvey's image. It's a static value, something that they feel like when a business wants to come into Harvey and put some money in it. They're not going to come in or bring their families in on some garbage. Negative effects on our bond ratings. You got homeowners insurance? Tell them you live in Harvey. Watch the rates. You have a business insurance? Tell them you live in Harvey. Watch the rates. You want some auto insurance? My God. Negative effects on its ability to acquire loans, grants, outside assistance, and support for our future. Right now, Kobe Bryant, it's not Kobe Bryant, the basketball player in Robbins is building a big center out there. You know about that, don't you? No. He is, but guess what? We need somebody wanting to build something in Harvey. And we need it to happen now. We don't need this negative effect on our business, our bonds, and everything else. We want business to come in and stores. Thank you very much. I'm out of time. But guess what? You're not out of time. You got to stay right in your city. Don't let anybody take your city away.
Next up, Sharika Gaston, followed by Ruth Cameron.
Good Good evening, everyone. My name is Sharitha Gasson. I work for CETA. Our office is located at 52 East 154th Street. I'm just here to bring awareness to the Engage Harvey program that the CETA FACE office is, we're spearheading that program, and it's about Harvey. There are a lot of you that are in the audience that I know who I am, and if not, tap me on the shoulder, I can give you a card, I can give you some information, who have partaken in my focus groups already. We are about to, we've already been promised the grant for 3 years from the Robin Hood Foundation, and this greatly impacts the residents of Harvey, and we need for you, if you have services that you need, we need you to get to that office and get this money, because if you know anything about grants, if you don't use it, you lose it. So if you know someone, they don't have to be residents of Harvey to just partake in the CETA program, but the Engage Harvey program is just for Harvey residents. So again, if you have anyone or need the information, please come and reach out to us and let me know. Thank you.
The reason I asked for this additional time was for the people that did not have an opportunity to fill out a sheet.
Right.
That's why I said first come, first serve.
Right.
None of the people that have spoken,
Because we're going through the sheets first, and then after the sheets.
where these sheets come from, this is my whole point. These sheets will not sit out the way they normally sit out at the regular meeting. They were not out there.
So once again, let the sheets be filled out. Ask for an additional time, the additional time is granted. But we're still going through the sheets. We're not going to disenfranchise those people just because.
I think the sheets should have been set out the way they are in a regular board. What are these, pre-signed?
No, we're not re-signed, but duly noted. Thank you. But I mean, that's all we got. And if we just go through these and get through those, we'll be done, and we'll be able to move on. So next up is Ruth Cameron, followed by Mike Gary.
Hello, my name is Ruth Cameron, and I am a resident in Ward 6 in Harvey. And I prepared a statement because I wanted it to be meaningful. And the statement is to the aldermen, the 4 aldermen who want to repeal the restriction on the time limits for selling alcohol in Harvey. So I'm going to read the statement, because I support the 12 midnight curfew on liquor sales in Harvey. I don't believe that Harvey should be dependent on revenue from liquor establishments in order to rebuild and prosper. For too many years, we have been known as the hub of adult entertainment, which is one of the reasons we don't currently have many businesses that support the city of Harvey and its residents. Harvey at one time had a variety of businesses, from government offices, and I'm sure a lot of you remember, from government offices, utilities, factories, clothing stores, grocery stores, restaurants, etc. We could buy anything we needed in Harvey and conduct any type of business without taking our resources outside of the community. Now, the majority of what we have are liquor and adult entertainment establishments. Many businesses that once made Harvey a great city and a great place to live has left. We are left with what appears to be a slum or a ghetto. Therefore, I do not feel that we should be beholden to liquor establishments for our future. To do so would be acknowledging that we have no future. Okay, this is my opinion.
40 seconds.
Just a minute, okay. The law has been passed to restrict the sale of liquor. The law has been passed to restrict the sale of liquor after midnight, and it's now time to get about the business of rebuilding a better Harvey and stop wasting time. That will keep Harvey at a disadvantage and will profit only a few. We are tired of this continuous fighting with no consideration given to the will of the people who elected you to make Harvey a decent place for everyone. You are being paid with taxpayer dollars to work for all citizens. So we would appreciate it if you would do your job.
We have to be fair about this situation. I understand that he said that they were 10 pages already filled on out, but these people never got an opportunity to fill out the pages. Can we just have 2 lines, the people that filled out the form, and the people that didn't fill out the form? One at a time. What's the reason? Too much negativity.
Am I understanding something? The chief was standing right at the end, right where that gentleman is. Can you raise your hand? He's the last person that's going to speak, correct? Because he's standing there. He wants to speak in line now. The cutoff point was in 45 minutes. We're going to, at least that's what I'm thinking. Am I right?
It makes
So the
sense.
last person will be you. All right? So everyone here, in all fairness, because we got to let everyone.
I was there, she was down on the table.
I'm sorry, what?
I was there, she was down on
You
the
know what?
table.
That's in the past. Let's deal with it.
You said deal with what you want to deal with.
It's right in front of us now. But hey, we can end it in 45 minutes.
We are going to continue. We are going to continue. Mike Gearing is up, followed by Missouri Irvin.
2 minutes is fine for me. I think what he is saying is that all these people who got in line, he told them to get in line, every one of them is going to be able to speak. I'm going to be quick. What I want to talk to you about is the census and to make sure that you fill out the census survey. The reminder will come in the mail on March the 12th. Now there is an American community survey that has been going around. People think they're filling out the census. Your numbers will be counted if you fill out that census report when it comes out. You can fill it out, the report that comes, you can fill it out online, you can fill it out on the phone. And we'll be floating around in different locations where we'll have laptops in case you don't have internet service, you'll be able to fill it out there. But the money goes where the numbers go. If we don't show that we have numbers over here, our fund to some of those places that you're talking about and not to the city of Harvey. So make sure that not only you fill out the census, but you tell those young folks that's not here, you make sure that all them babies that's in your house, make sure everybody is counted. Grandma, everybody, if they're in your house on April 1st, make sure they get counted. Thank you.
Next is Missouri Irvin, followed by Teresa Cameron.
If you don't got nothing like to say, you better not talk.
Thank you. My name is Missouri Irvin. I'm a resident in the 3rd Ward, and I support 3377 because it's something that's going to impact our city not only at one level as far as nightclubs, gas stations, stores, it has an overall impact upon our reputation, which is marred and stained and it's damaged. And we've been through a storm and we're trying to pull out of that storm. But there's some changes that we have to make and some things that we have to do. We have to do it in a different way. And the aldermen that sit up there that are going to vote on this tonight, I'm just wondering, did you actually go through your wards and ask the people, do they want to repeal this, how they feel about it, what impact it's going to have upon them? Because from the information that I have here tonight, none of you did. Not a single one of you went to your wards, asked the people, what do they want? How do they feel about 3377? And I just want to read to all of you some of the names of the people. They came from all different wards. It's not just from the 3rd ward where I live at. And just share that with you. They're upset about it, and a lot of you need to go back to your wards and really address the issue before you vote on this tonight, because it might be a big mistake. 1 year is almost gone already, and there's only 3 left, and that time passes pretty fast. And when it comes time for you to be reelected, they'll remember something like this. Okay, so it goes like this. Shirley Everett, 3rd ward. Gladys Gordon, 2nd ward. Edward Gordon, 2nd ward. Sandra Harvey, 3rd ward. Janet Shine, 2nd ward. Jay LaRue, 2nd ward. Johnny Merritt, 6th ward. Lana Taylor, and on and on and on. And this is just the beginning.
If we're going to continue to be disruptive, regardless of what side you are on, what position you would like to take, we are going to ask you to be removed from this auditorium. We all know that this is a bone of contention with a lot of people, and I understand that too. But at the same time, we can be respectful of each other. So just please do so.
All right, but if you get that on the show, that means stop.
Up next is Teresa Cameron, followed finally by Tremaine Smith.
Hi, I'm Teresa Cameron. I'm a resident of the 6th Ward. I've lived in Harvey as a homeowner now for 12 years. But I grew up here in Harvey, and I would like for Harvey to get better. And so I do support the ordinance, and I'm here to stand in space for people who also support, but they weren't able to stand here today. This is a continuation of Ms. Donahue's list. Mr. and Mrs. Melvin Moore, Pearl Mack, Jamal Salah, Valerie Garner, Sandra Harvey, Alfred Sherman, Roger Gervais, Ryan Sinwelski, Robert Moore, Shirley Curry, Al Belly, Violet Belly, Mr. and Mrs. Larry Sutton, Myrtle Bailey, Mr. and Mrs. James Flowers, Dolores Thornton, Mary McNeese, Darrell Sandiford, Jewel Minor, Mr. and Mrs. Will Thomas, Mr. and Mrs. Gilbert Williams, Beverly Johnson, Barbara Johnson, Mr. and Mrs. Clancy Wright, Donna Murphy, Curtis Golson, Wayne Johnson, Teresa Cameron, Roberto Nettles, Chuck Carrington, and Barbara Stewart. Thank you for your time.
Okay, so first I'd like to talk with these aldermen who, first you voted to close the clubs at 12. Now you coming back, want to stop it. Whose side are you on? This looks like you guys are more on their side than us, the people who voted you in to turn our city around. Right. Okay, let's face it. It's been peaceful, it's been quiet since some of this stuff went down. Citizens, this is what happens when you do not do checks on people before you vote for them. You need to find out their experiences, they qualifications, not because they popular or they stand in front of with celebrities, okay? Club owners, no disrespect. No disrespect at all. We sick and tired of being sick and tired. 16 years, our city has went to shit. Crestwood, Homewood built a Chick-fil-A at the same time. All of our money is going to these other communities. If you shaking and stripping, that's your expertise. I have nothing to do with that, but please, we just don't want to hear, that's all. No disrespect. Everybody got to eat, but we want to just peace. We just want some peace.
Per person, well, first come, first serve, whoever first in line. Start.
Good evening, my name is Cynthia Townsend Childress. I've been a resident of Harvey for 34 years, and I've seen this city go down in the last 20 years. I do want to thank our Mayor, Christopher Clark, for what he's done in the 10 months that he's been here. Huge difference, and I am in agreement with the mayor and whatever aldermen that are in agreement with this 12 o'clock no liquor sale. Our streets have become safer. I feel safer. And again, Mayor Christopher Clark, thank you.
Hello, citizens. My name is John Armstrong, and I'm resident of Harvey. I'd like to commend the mayor for his efforts and his objectives of turning Harvey around. However, if you have cancer, you can't just get rid of a little bit, you gotta get rid of all of it. So therefore, I drafted up 2 propositions for the abolishment of alcohol altogether in Harvey. Also, the abolishment of any marijuana stores. So, the mayor has a copy of that draft, and it's up to him to acknowledge it, but our goal is to make Harvey better.
To the alderman, to the mayor, Clarence Clark, Christopher Clark, whatever your name is, the convicted felon, you won't be around. You know the feds pulled me in to talk about you. So while y'all talking about, while y'all so on his backside, he'll be in the feds right, so I'm not worried about that. There's been 20+ murders since you took office. More murders than Harvey ever seen. I paid $200,000 in taxes. Half of that money goes to the school system. What have you did for Harvey? You came in here, closed these clubs down. You're a black man we're black people fighting a black man to keep black people employed. Then you go out here and get these Indians tax breaks to hire 16 more Indians, but you won't give me a tax break, and I'm hiring hundreds of black people. You know, and we gonna fight it. You know, I don't know what more to say, but I promise you this. On my dead brother's grave, I will spend every quarter to make sure this is your first and only term. I promise you
that. To the mayor, alderman, it's disgraceful that we have to come here and basically have a, excuse me, let me speak because this is important. So it's disgraceful that we come here and we have to have a young people against old people. At the end of the day, I'm 50 years old. I don't party like a 30-year-old, but that doesn't give me the right to tell a 30-year-old how to party. Everyone is older here before you used to party before. And imagine that somebody's telling you when you're 25, oh, go in the house at 12 o'clock. We talking about liquor sales. It's 3 gentlemen's clubs in Harvey. It's not 300. It's 3 that open at 11 p.m. and close at 4 p.m. The residents are in bed. If you're older, you're not even there. People, that's a destination you have to come to. But we have 2,700 vacant buildings and houses in Harvey. And we are talking about a 12 o'clock liquor license. The club we got, they had a memo out saying it's 3,000 people leave the clubs and they commit crimes. That is a lie. You have to do your homework when people just put out these false advertisements. There's never in 20 years been a person leave Club O and go out and kill a citizen of Harvey. That is a lie. Do your homework on that. And just like John said, our Arab brothers and our Indian brothers that got all these nice houses up and along the block where the city council is, it's under religious organizations. They pay no taxes. We pay $180,000 in taxes. We pay $40,000 a year for the late liquor taxes. And a host of them people employed. And I don't need a paper to read the thousands of young black people who are out of work. We have to work together. And my last point is, and I'm not saying the mayor's not trying to do right by this city. I believe he is, and the alderman. But you have to do your facts. These clubs are not even strip clubs. They are really nightclubs. But people have a whole long time. But the last I want to say is, look back at the video. These people asked for more time when we put it there.
Requiring businesses to stop selling liquor and or close at 12 a.m. The ordinance effectively put approximately 875 men and women out of work or working reduced hours. A number that you probably have heard before. So how does this affect the city of Harvey? Approximately 150 of those employees, men and women, live in the city of Harvey. They are part of your 25,000 residents. On February 5th, 80% or 120 of those residents were behind 30 days or more on their rent and utilities, with the majority behind 60 days or more. 43 of those were parents. Those parents were unable to provide Christmas gifts for their children, and now they're at risk of being unable to provide food, shelter, security for their child. Of those 120 residents, 13 have been served with eviction papers during this time, including a 28-year-old mother with 3 children, all under the age of 12. She rents a home from a gentleman in Harvey on 157th Street. She has resided there for 10 years of her life. She started working in the restaurants and clubs because the hours allowed for her to be home with her children after school hours. She has 30 days now to vacate. And what does that do for the city of Harvey? It leaves an empty property in the city of Harvey, which is prone to vandalism. So now you've impacted 2 people minimum for the city of Harvey. Mayor, you said that your mama said nothing happens good after midnight. My mama said that I was my brothers and sisters' keeper.
I want to start by and that I was in support of a new mayor. However, this is a misstep. I'm in support of the clubs. It's a misconception that the clubs deter investors. Being a Harvey homeowner and also with plans for a restaurant, without the clubs open, I wouldn't invest. There's not just the clubs that are affected, it's restaurants and other establishments that are open after midnight. I was all in support of a new mayor. However, this was a misstep because for 2 reasons. The clubs are closed, there's less tax revenue. You know, restaurants are closing early because there's not the after the club crowd. and I was reading the paper. And by the paper, you know, it's on my phone now. But the article said that it stated that the mayor stated they don't have enough police powers to police after the clubs close. But if we look around the room, how many police officers do you see? These are. If you Google Harvey and you looked at the recent articles, there was a dog stolen from a blind man in broad daylight. It was an 11-year-old girl who was shot in broad daylight. After midnight does not necessarily mean more crime. That's just a misconception. That's all I have to say.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Council. Good evening, I'm sorry. My name is Albert Anthony, and I live in the 2nd Ward. I am a homeowner in this great city. To me, this is not about liquor stores, adult entertainment, or strip clubs. This is about personal freedom. The ability to make our own personal choices. Historically speaking, we've been down this road before. In the 1920s with Prohibition. Guess what? It didn't work. It created organized crime. In the 80s, we had the so-called war on drugs to limit the use of recreational marijuana. But what it caused was mass incarceration and the rise of street gangs. Guess what? It didn't work. Here we are in Black History Month. After learning about our history, how can we go down the same road? We cannot allow the government to make our own personal choices. Because where would it end? The government will tell you that they're not taking your freedoms away, that they're just restricting it. So I ask, is restricted freedom freedom at all? In America, the government protects businesses we like and institutions we like. But what makes America so beautiful is that the government also protects businesses that we don't like. We elected a mayor and aldermen.
Time's up.
We didn't elect a choir and a pastor. The liquor ordinance needs to be repealed. Thank you for your time.
My name is Bonnie Rattery. I've been attending city council members meetings for 40 years. I've been coming to city council meetings for over 40 years. The problems that we are having today are not because of liquor establishments. We have a drug problem in this town and a gang problem in this town, and it's not being addressed at all. The murders that have happened recently are more than we've ever had, and they're not coming from people leaving liquor establishments. But my main concern is this: as you're all sitting here, you'll be sitting here again next year when you realize, as these businesses close, just like I got petitions signed when we were begging the city council, the mayor was the alderman, you were an alderman, but you were with us signing petitions to keep the only grocery store we had open. They had business people, the county, the state, investing to redo the store and pay that $2 million of tax money that we needed for our schools. They shut them down. This town is not business friendly. So don't blame the liquor establishments, because they're the last businesses that we have who are under attack. And when they leave, we'll be paying those taxes. I'm telling you all, many of you know me. are being bamboozled. We are continually manipulated by politicians. And when somebody sends a letter to my door telling me to call the alderman, but don't give me his phone number, and telling me some lies, because if the liquor establishments were the problem, we would know that.
City Council, to the residents. My name is Ross Burgess. I'm a resident of the 3rd Ward. Matter of fact, I am the block club president of 156 in Marshall Block Club. I have just a couple of concerns. It's not pertaining to the liquor license or anything. It's pertaining to vacant homes that we have. 156 in Marshall, we have 5 vacant homes. I've been trying to get torn down for 7, 8 years. And I just would like to see those homes torn down. Also, I'm an elder at the Harvey Church of Christ that's at 15248.
That's both. You can keep your hands to yourself.
15248 Marshfield. And we have a vacant house.
Come on, T.
The other concern I have, I'm my elder at Harvey Church of Christ, which is 15248 Marshall Avenue. We have a burnt out house that's been sitting there for I don't know how many, a year or two. And we would like that torn down also so we can utilize that for parking. These are just some small concerns that I have, and it's nothing to do with the liquor license. That's something that is going to work itself out. So thank you very much.
My name is Craig Abron, and I currently live in the 3rd Ward. I was in the 2nd Ward. I moved to the 3rd Ward. And I do want to say that I don't support the 12 o'clock liquor ordinance for the reason that, like Ms. Rattery stated, once these businesses are gone, the homeowners are going to be taxed. They're going to be forced to pay those taxes that are gone. So while we out here going at each other about these, what y'all have to realize is that when that money's gone, y'all use the statement all the time, gotta rob Peter to pay Paul, they're gonna have to rob Peter to pay Paul once these tax-paying businesses are gone. Secondly, I do want to say this, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. We've seen police chief ousted. We have a new police chief, but how many of y'all seen him sworn in? How many of y'all seen the commander sworn in? So technically, according to the law, if they're not sworn officers, they're not officers of the law. So right now, we're paying people, we have people on payroll who are not officially in an official capacity to do any duty as police officers. So technically, that's while y'all arguing about people staying out at midnight, y'all need to be arguing about these police officers getting paid. That's not police officers. Secondly, again, with these ordinances, I've seen people getting shot at 10 o'clock in the morning. Not around clubs, no bars. We're getting shot on 145th and Loomis. There's no bar. There's no club over there. So what we need to concentrate on is what's going to move Harvey forward is tax-paying businesses. And those are the only ones that we have here right now. Other than that, it's going to affect you homeowners. Thank you.
Well, it can't affect all of us. Somebody does.
Hello, my name is Chappelle Hooks. I live in the 5th Ward for 46 years. Been in the 5th Ward. I'm not a club goer, I'm not a drinker, smoker, none of that. But I do support, you know, the club staying open, because those are jobs that people are losing that do pay into the city. We worried about all this stuff about, you're saying that the less crime or whatever. It's been like 26, 27 murders since May, since they sworn themselves in here. And a lot of them were kids that had nothing to do with liquor stores or clubs or anything. These babies were shot in their homes, in their cars, stores. There you go. So I'm not understanding why this is such taboo when Harvey citizens in 1895 wrote a referendum to have saloons and liquor. So it's been going on for over 100 years. Why now all of a sudden you gotta shut it down? What about the people that he appointed that don't live in Harvey, that their money's not reciprocating in here? That money is being paid out. That money is being paid out. That money, those people that has been appointed by the mayor that do not reside in Harvey, that money is not reciprocating back into our city. Worry about that 500 and some thousand that's coming up out here. That can be used for these streets, these lights, and all of that stuff. And all of that, excuse me? What'd you say? You said what? No, I mean, I don't have no problem with answering questions, because they don't. I'll answer questions.
Thank you. The one thing I don't see and I'm very disappointed in right now is compromise. I am slightly different from everyone else. I would love for the liquor stores to close at midnight because we get a lot of people coming in from different areas to buy their liquor. I'm against the clubs closing because one, it's a lot of people that work. I don't club a lot anymore at all. But when I want to, I go to Sugar Babies. I see a lot of old friends. It's like a reunion. There's not a lot of violence happening there. The murders that's been occurring in Harvey hasn't been happening at the clubs. Again, I would love for the liquor stores to close at midnight because they can sell all they want at 11:30 to 11:50. But what I don't think anyone is really thinking about, what if all these businesses decide to open from noon to midnight? Now, what would you say then? They're following the law, but now you have people coming in and out your city all day instead of a controlled time period. Sometimes, man, there's a lot of older people here that's for it, and I've helped them. There's a lot of older people that I talk to say it don't bother them because they don't live close to the clubs. But overall, I put my support behind Chris Clark because he talked about streets, sidewalks, lights, and other things like that. Never once did I hear him mention he was going to shut these clubs down. So sometimes you have to realize if each one of these club owners open at noon and close at midnight, how would y'all like that?
those who don't know, I'm the Fifth Ward Alderman, Dominique Randall, and I want to thank everyone who came out here today to show your support in one way or another. I just thought that it was important that for the sense of, I don't want us to continue to bicker over this. I don't know where the misconception may have came from, where some of you got your information from. But this is why it's very important. Do not leave here without your alderman's number or email so you can ask questions and you can get proper answers. But just so you know, the liquor ordinance that's on the agenda tonight has nothing to do with clubs. How did we get everybody here, people going out getting signatures, which really just is sad because now we got residents who aren't here to hear what really happened, but they believe that something's happening concerning clubs. I don't know where that came from. This is about packaged liquor, which clubs don't sell. So somebody misinformed you all. Just wanted to let you know.
Of minutes dated January 27, 2020. Chair recognizes the Sixth Ward.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make an amendment to the agenda. Item number. Okay, stop all of you hear me. Item number 5, new business. I'd like to change it to old business. Item number 6. Make number 6 number 5.
We are moving this along as a dilatory motion and out of order, so will not be accepted.
I'm sorry, why not?
We have approval for minutes dated January 27, 2020, and February 3rd, 2020. Is there a motion? We can get right through this gentleman and lady, and then we can take care of all of this. That's the reason why we have everything on the agenda.
Do we have that guarantee that we can take care of all
Yes.
We
We have that guarantee, sir.
Okay. Do we have the guarantee of
especially if you have a business, it's not using this time doing it.
I don't think it's a waste of time. I'm asking the question, do we have to be out by 10?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
So, again, the approval of minutes dated January 27, 2020, and February 3rd, 2020. The chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by the Fifth Ward.
Yes.
Second by the Fourth. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderwoman Gruinski.
Yes, but I do have a question.
Yes.
I asked the question. In the approval of the minutes for January 27th, in there we discussed that the Civil Service Commission was going to go to Public Works Committee. Did the Public Works host a meeting?
No.
No, thank you.
What was that? No.
No, it was not nonsense. It was a question that I had. It was proposed by Alderman Randall L. to go to public, and I was answered, the answer was no.
Okay, which one was it supposed to?
It was public safety.
Public safety, okay.
And we're still waiting on the information on those.
Very good. I was just asking, was there a meeting? Thank you.
So, what is your vote, support? Thank you.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Crudup. Alderman Randall L.
Yes.
Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderman Tolbert.
No.
Motion carried.
Okay, 5B, approval for bills for payment dated February 24th, 2020. The chair would entertain a motion.
Motion to pay bills that were approved in the Finance Committee this afternoon at 6 o'clock on February 24th. So moved.
Motion by the 6th.
Second.
second by fifth. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Randall L.
Yes.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Crudup. Alderwoman Drowinski.
Yes.
Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderman Tover.
No.
Motion carries.
Okay, number 5C, ordinances and resolutions for the city of Harvey. Before we proceed, gentlemen and gentlelady, let me make sure we understand that even though we don't necessarily have to be out by 10 o'clock, we still want to be expedient in the way we conduct our business. I would hope that's the case. So as we do have a few presentations, but I would also ask them to be as clear and concise as possible going forward. Okay, so there's resolution 2910, a resolution designating Harvey Shopping Center LLC as a designated redeveloper for Harvey Town Square, and authorizing future special tax allocation fund for expenses incurred in connection with the redevelopment of Harvey Town Square. This particular ordinance is about a variety of issues, but because of our time, I'm going to get straight to it. We have been working for quite some time since the beginning of this administration to try to get a grocery store into the city of Harvey, and we have been able to accomplish that goal. So, in addition to doing so, along with this redevelopment project, is a redevelopment of an entire plaza in the city of Harvey in the 4th Ward. I want to say thanks to Alderman Tracy Key for being attentive to this issue and listening when it came time to talk with the developers. So on that note, I'm going to stop talking because of time and let Mr. Nick Greifer, our Director of Economic Development, speak on this issue.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Alderman. And also thank you for staying out late for this long meeting, and I know there's a lot of important topics to cover tonight. I'd like to start by introducing Reggie Greenwood. Reggie is from the Chicago Southland Economic Development Corporation. He's a fixture in the area and working tirelessly to promote economic development, not only in Harvey, but in the southern Cook County region. So he's an important part of our success is the work that Reggie does. And he's going to talk a little bit about the strategic importance of industrial development as well as the commercial development that you're seeing with the grocery store.
Well, thank you, Nick. Good afternoon, and thank you, Mayor and City Council. It's a pleasure to be here and talk about some of the stuff that's happened in the region of the Chicago Southland that's particularly relevant to the city of Harvey. The Chicago Southland is the area I work for the group's called the Chicago Southland Economic Development Corporation, which deals with the region from Calumet City to Creek to Kinley Park. It's the whole 37, 40 communities out here. And one of the things I'd like to talk about that we've begun to find in the last few years is that the region has these unique logistics assets that are world class. We have 7 rail lines that come through the region. We have an untold number of interstates that come through here. There's 5 of them that move through our area. And there's recently been a lot of investment in improving those assets. The CN Intermodal site, which is a world-class intermodal operation, is in the city of Harvey. And recently we've had this huge new investment in rebuilding the I-57, I-294 interchange. You may have noticed that. It's like this, for the first time, it's the only time in the country that 2 interstates did not intersect. And half of it's built and the other half has been built now. In fact, that new logistics, that new intersection is one of the reasons that the new grocery store is particularly viable now, because it has great access to other parts of the region to that new intersection. So we have this great capacity of rail, this highway, and a great workforce. And what's happened in the last few years that new development has started coming throughout the region connected to e-commerce. As we know, Amazon has kind of taken over the world, and they have certainly started investing heavily into our region. In I-57, there's a 3 million square foot Amazon facility in Moni, and I kid you not, 3 million square feet that employs 2,500 people. Right next to it, there's another there's 3 or 4 million square foot buildings underway right now along I-57. And what's happened is the e-commerce world has now moved up into South Cook County. There are large projects underway in Markham. Have you noticed that 150 acres of land that's cleared at 159th Street, 294 recently? It's amazing. And there is potentially a huge project that's coming there. Something's going to go there. Obviously, someone spent a lot of money to clear and put that land together. So we're looking at 2,000 jobs there. And also, in Country Club Hills, there's another behind the Walmart, a company called LPI, is LFI. No, Logistics Property is building 1.2 million square feet this spring. And you can see moving equipment out there right now. So I guess I wanted to point that the work that the mayor, the city has done, and Nick and Tim has put together, that Harvey is positioning itself to contribute to and be part of this revolution that's coming to I-57, I-294, I-80. It's an amazing economic revolution that requires a great workforce program. Many of the things we've been doing have been interacting with the high schools in this area. Thornton High School is a big part of the work that we've been doing to help young people get the jobs, the training necessary for manufacturing logistics jobs. So I just wanted to conclude and say that the region really appreciates the work that's happening by the council and the mayor to position Harvey to be the center part of this crossroads of America. I mean, we really are. I-80 is a crossroads of America, and there's an opportunity that Harvey will claim itself as being the center of this, which it once was not that long ago. And it's time for it to be there again. And it's part of this unique collection of assets of rail, highway, and I missed him. Oh, and the South Suburban Airport. I have done a lot of work recently in the last year of creating investments in the South Suburban Airport. It's going to be built, and the South Suburban Airport will be part of this revolution of assets that are coming here. I don't want to talk too long, but so the Chicago Southland Economic Development Corporation is willing to help and to participate in the revitalization of our economy. I appreciate what Chris has done in the City Council, and my organization is here to help, and I wanted to congratulate you on the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Reggie. At this time, pleased to invite up to the podium a representative from Rodeo Capital. They're the developer for the shopping center, which would fill the grocery store space on Dixie Highway. So, come on up. By the way, while they're gathering materials, because we relocated to this bigger facility, we don't have PowerPoint, but I'd be happy to email to anybody PowerPoint slides or meet with you afterwards this week or next week to talk about any of the items that Reggie talked about or Rodeo Capital is going to address tonight. So please don't hesitate to contact me anytime this week or next week. Thank you.
We did have one question over here, 640.
$5.8 million on the new project on Dixie Highway.
You go to the mic, you can hear us?
Say yes in the mic. That's correct. Okay, that's enough. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, the chair would entertain a motion to,
Motion to accept resolution 2910.
motion by, Six, second by Four.
What was the motion?
Motion to approve. 2019, clerk, will you please call the roll.
Alderman Tolbert. Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderman Crudup. Alderwoman Gruinski.
For resolution 2910, yes.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Randall L.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, gentlemen. Next on the agenda, ordinance number 3395. An ordinance authorizing the establishment of tax increment financing parties, registries, and adopting registration rules for such registry. This has to do specifically with a project going on in the second ward in downtown area. We've been moving forward, and the council saw once before Phil McKenna from James McKenna come and present about the TIF district and the transit-oriented development. We're going to have him come before us again and say a few words and then move forward. As you can see, my colleagues would like for you to get straight to the point.
I'm Phil McKenna, Kane McKenna Associates. We're financial consultants to the city. We have been looking at a proposed transit-oriented development TIF district. Real simply, transit-oriented means it's near the train station. TIF means it's an area that is determined to be in need of private investment and probably some public investment. And what's happening is the tax base as it is now is frozen. That money goes to all the taxing districts who now receive it. And then on the basis that some incentive is needed, the city takes additional taxes that come in that aren't there now, puts them in a special fund, and uses that to be able to negotiate with investors to be able to get more private investment, which includes a big part of that budget will be for job training itself. So we have looked at thus far an area that basically goes, we don't have a map, right? I'm sorry. Okay. All right, so the transit-oriented district will basically go along 154th from Honoré to Park. It's fairly narrow along that corridor, with the exception of Ingalls Hospital is included in there. Why do we include Ingalls? One, they're a driver. That's a potential real economic development driver. Two, what would happen if something happened at the hospital? Look at St. Francis in Blue Island. That needed to be recreated in another vein. We then pick up the businesses along 154th, go to what is effectively a triangle over in Park, taking in the Broadway and Center Street corridors. And again, we're focusing on business development in here. We go north a bit because we want to connect to an existing TIF district for the sole reason that money from one TIF district can be utilized in another TIF district. So we want to take advantage of that opportunity. The whole core of this is to get modern residential development and modern commercial development, particularly with respect to commuters who are coming off the train lines. They want a nice place to live, they want a place to shop, they want the advantages that you have at your opportunity. We'll have more at your opportunity right now. So where we're at with respect to this is that we've outlined the basic corridor that's subject to full approval by the full city council. We have tried to minimize any housing included in that. We don't want taxing districts or houses to think in any way that this is going to disturb what they have now. No, it's going to concentrate on the commercial aspects of it. We then have a series of steps that will come. This is like a first step tonight in terms of this interested parties ordinance. What the interested party ordinance does It requires the city clerk's office to keep a registry. Anybody who wants to know anything that's going on with the TIF, any of the documents, any of the proposals, can register with the city clerk's office and then will be eligible to get those throughout the entire process.
That sounds great. Thank you so much, Mr. McKinnon.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Motion to approve ordinance 3395. Second by the 16. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Randall L.
Yes.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderwoman Drowinski.
Yes.
Alderman Crudup. Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderman Tolbert.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, all the people. Now we have ordinance number 3394, ordinance for the city of Harvey, Cook County, Illinois, establishing a video gaming terminal push tax. On this one, it says sponsored by Mayor Clark, but actually, wasn't just myself. You want to move it to the mic so everybody can hear me? It says sponsored by Mayor Clark, but it wasn't just myself. It was also an effort from Alderman Dominique Randall, who actually brought it to our attention. And who? And Marshawn Tolbert as well? Okay, well, that one I wasn't aware of, but yes. So I want to make sure we give credit where credit is due. This is a video gaming terminal push tax, which basically allows the city to basically capture more tax revenue. The tax itself for the push tax is 1 cent, so it's not much, 1 cent per play. So basically, each time that someone is at a video gaming terminal and decides to cast a bet, then what would happen is they would be charged 1 penny for a bet that they make. And so this was once again the work of Alderman Tolbert and also Alderman Randall L. and myself. And I want to thank them for actually bringing this forward. Because all I did was a little bit of some of the lifting, but it was really their idea. So the chair would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve ordinance 3394.
Motion by the 5th.
Second.
Second by the 2nd. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Tolbert.
Yes.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Crudup. Alderwoman Drowinski.
Yes.
Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderman Randall L.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Now on the agenda, ordinance number 3393, an ordinance for the city of Harvey, Cook County, Illinois, amending Title 5, Chapter 5-06 of the City Municipal Code to provide for an express right to appeal and for an on-the-record hearing process for liquor licenses. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let our corporate counsel explain that a little bit more. If you be so kind.
This was an ordinance that the Illinois State Liquor Control Commission has asked us to pass because right now, when the mayor does hearings on liquor licenses, there's a court reporter at City Hall, there's a full hearing, and when liquor license establishments appeal to the State Liquor Control Commission, they have to totally repeat the process. So they said the city of Harvey could save money if they were just allowed to rely on the transcripts of the original hearing, so that's why this matter's on the agenda.
Thank you, counsel. So the chair would entertain.
Motion to approve 3393.
Second.
Motion by the 6th, second by the 1st. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderwoman Drowinski.
Yes.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Crudup. Alderman Randall L.
Yes.
Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
And Alderman Tolbert.
Ordinance number 3392, an ordinance for the city of Harvey, Cook County, Illinois, amending certain sections of Title 13, Chapter 13 of the City of Harvey Municipal Code, removing water meter installation fees for residential customers. This is another one of those ordinances that says sponsored by Mayor Clark. That is not entirely true because it came about actually from Alderman Dominique Randall and one of his constituents that was having an issue where he was being charged for for an installation of a meter because his pipe was over 3/4 of an inch. And what was that?
Point of order, I have a question.
Yes, sir. Chair recognizes the situation.
Okay, I think it's commendable that we want to waive the cost for all the residents that have to pay for a water meter. But when it comes down to the commercial businesses, we want to make it attractive for businesses that want to come to our community. If they have to purchase a water meter and they decide to move out, will they be allowed to take that water meter along with them? No? Okay, I didn't think so. Okay, so why do we want to charge the businesses for a meter that actually they don't belong, it doesn't belong?
So there's a variety of answers to that, but what I will say this much is, as far as these businesses are concerned, when they are charged the cost of the meter, that is first of all a write-off on their taxes, number one. So they can definitely write that off, where our residents cannot write off the installation of a meter. Okay, and so that is one of the reasons why the residents don't have to pay for it, but the commercial businesses do. Chair recognizes the floor.
Yeah, Mayor, what is the expenses involved in the prices for the meters? Are they different from the commercial and the resident?
Which expenses?
The expenses for the water meters. How much are the water meters cost?
So from my understanding, it varies because one is the size of the meters may be different for each and every commercial business, and then some of those businesses may have several meters also. And then also there's access issues as far as those meters are concerned, so that may be a part of the total cost as well. Right now, at this particular point in time, the water receiver is actually doing something that I don't prefer. He has been outsourcing much of that work. When honestly, I believe that work can be done by Harvey residents. So once we're able to get back in control of the water service, the water supply, we'll be doing just that. But right now, you know, they're outsourcing it, and one of the problems with outsourcing is that the prices are astronomical. And so, but once again, that's under the control of the water. But it varies from business to business.
Motion to approve resolution 3390.
Well, we have a chair recognizes.
Thank you. And you know, given in the first ward, I had in my church, my parish, they had to get $3,000 bill to get their replaced to the current receiver. They charged St. John's $3,000. Now on the same thing, with that pipe, very similar to the 5th Ward Alderman's resident, he would have been charged that because of a piping difference. What this ordinance does is protect the residents.
That's what it does, it protects the residents.
It protects the residents, and that is where the residents, in case their pipes were a little bit bigger or not as big, and putting them up to the standard.
Making sure that we're well. Thank you, ma'am.
Well, you're welcome.
So I think I heard a motion, but I don't remember who it came from. There was a motion from the 6th, I need a second. Second from the 4th. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Rogers?
Yes.
Alderman Crudup? Alderman Covert?
Yes.
Alderman Randall L.
Yes.
Alderwoman Drowinski?
Yes.
And Alderman Keith?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Is anybody okay.
Yes. I make a motion that we accept it.
Okay, so business, I have a motion from the 1st, a second from the 5th, is that how it is? Oh, excuse me, motion from the 5th, motion from the 5th, a second from the 1st. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Rogers?
Yes.
I am here.
Alderman Covert? Yes. Alderman Randall L.
Yes.
Alderwoman Drowinski?
Yes.
And Alderman Keith?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next item on our agenda is an ordinance of the City of Harvey, Illinois, establishing a procedure for aldermen to add items to agendas for city council meetings. I hope we don't have to have a lot of conversations about this. There we go. Yes. Amen. Chair recognizes the second.
The way it was given.
So we had to put our numbers on. But you told me last time you wasn't giving no resolution numbers. You said
We'll give it to them. We'll give it to them right now.
Yes.
We'll give it to you right now.
So, there was, I heard a motion. A motion by the 6th, second by the 5th? Is that what it was?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Clerk, would you please call it? Motion to accept, to approve, no, the first was the 6th, the second was the 5th. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Key?
Yes.
Alderman Crudup? Alderman Tolbert?
Yes.
Alderman Randall L?
Yes.
Alderman Rogers?
Yes.
Alderwoman Drewinski?
Yes.
Motion carried. And that was ordinance 3396.
It's 3396.
96.
Now, before we move into these, I think it's the next two ordinances. Alderman, I just want to bring it to your attention with the ordinance amending section 2-08-010-B of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Harvey, Illinois, along with the ordinance for the City of Harvey, Illinois, repealing ordinance 3377. There are some, what I would consider to be open meetings issues with those. So I wanted to at least bring it to your attention beforehand. To at least let you know and make you aware that we're taking one at a time. So we'll take it one at a time. An ordinance amending section 2-08-010-B of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Harvey, Illinois, sponsored by Alderman Tolbert Key, Randall L. and Rogers.
So what's those meeting issues?
So section 2.02 of the Open Meetings Act, subsection C, says any agenda required under this section shall set forth the general subject matter of any resolution or ordinance that will be the subject of final action at the meeting. So the way these are listed on the agenda, they list an ordinance amending a section number of the Code of Ordinances, but that doesn't inform the public about the topic. And the Public Access Counselor's Office considered and rendered a decision on November 13th, 2019, request for review 2019 PAC 59426 that said you can't take final action on a matter that's not sufficiently identified on a meeting agenda to tell the public what the topic of the agenda is. So it's not sufficient to have a code number. You need to actually say, like, if you look at the way the other things are listed on the agenda, they tell the public what the topic is.
Chair recognizes order.
At the special meeting that we had, we gave all the ordinance with all the numbers and all the resolutions at the particular time. But that meeting was canceled. Now, we're just getting resolution numbers that's being called out right now at the meeting. For some reason, that doesn't seem fair.
That's not the issue.
But so just to be clear, so
Yes.
passing, right? And then, I mean, it's up to the Open Meeting Act, Council, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. That's all. There's no, look, we are friends. Like I said, we are friends, we are not enemies. I'm just bringing it to your attention so that you can be aware that there may be a possible issue with it.
Well, I was just trying to address what the attorney was saying.
Yes, Chair recognizes the fifth one.
Could this not be ratified at the next meeting, even if it was passed now, and just ratified at the next meeting?
I mean, if it's a violation, couldn't we just repass it?
That's what I'm saying. Right. Say it again.
Okay, so.
But how would that address the wording for it as well?
So, if I may, Alderman, what I'm kind of thinking is, so all we do is just change the wording.
Right.
Make it clearer.
I just want to make sure that that's the understanding.
Yeah.
So if you table this into the next meeting, it would then be added to the agenda with additional wording to make it be sufficient.
If we'll ratify it, the open meeting that council says, this is vote for law.
Is that how it works? You can't.
Take final action on it tonight.
We can vote on it tonight and ratify it the following meeting.
No, we can vote on it tonight.
But it'll violate the open meetings act.
No, you said possibly violate.
No, I said possible.
So we'll violate the meeting.
So it can be validated by the.
So if they invalidate, then we'll change the word, right?
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, so let them invalidate it first and then.
So, I mean, it was just informed. That's really why it was it. So, the chair will entertain the motion.
So moved.
Moved by the sixth. Come on, y'all. Thank you. That's what we done. Okay, second by the second. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Tober?
Yes.
Alderman Key?
Yes.
Alderman Crudup? Alderman Randall L?
Thank.
Alderwoman Drowinski?
No.
Alderman Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, wonderful. We're moving. Okay, next on the agenda, an ordinance to the City of Harvey, Illinois, repealing ordinance number 3377, sponsored by Alderman Tober, Key, Randall L., and Rogers. This would have the same, similar issue to the previous, oh wait, hold on, before we continue. What's the ordinance number?
3398.
3398. Is that?
3397.
3397, excuse me, gentlemen and lady. 3397. Okay, so this next ordinance would have a similar issue, but once again, you know, it's up to the council to move in the direction that it wants.
So, current question. So, I'm looking at this ordinance, right? This says the same thing that's on the agenda. An ordinance for the city of Harvey, Illinois, repealing ordinance number 3377. That's exactly what the ordinance says, so I can review the open meeting. It's an ordinance repealing ordinance number 3377. They do know.
No, it doesn't. That's what the Attorney General was saying, is that you can't just put a recitation on the ordinance.
Repealing 3377.
Okay, how was anybody from the city of
Because it says that on the agenda.
So it's a ordinance establishing water meter fees?
So the ordinance repealing ordinance number 3377, it says it on the agenda.
But it doesn't say the topic of it.
Talking about repealing the ordinance.
So the chair would entertain the motion?
So moved. So what is the topic again?
Moved by the, sixth?
Second.
Second by the second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Drowinski?
No.
Alderman Key?
Yes.
Alderman Crudup? Alderman Randall L?
Thank.
Alderman Rogers?
Yes.
Alderman Tober?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Wonderful. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. What was that? We don't know the answer to that question.
Ordinance 339.
And finally, no, we got two more.
Ordinance that was-
An ordinance for the 3398? Okay, that's 3398 all. Next is an ordinance for the City of Harvey, Illinois, amending Chapter 2-24, Law Department, including adding Section 2-24-130, Legislative Council, sponsored by Alderman Tolbert, Key, Randall L., and Rogers.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by the sixth, second by the second. Clerk, would you please call the roll.
Alderman Crudup? Alderman Key?
Yes.
Alderman Rogers?
Yes.
Alderwoman Drowinski? Alderwoman Drowinski? I can't hear. Did you say no?
Oh, I said no.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. Okay, Alderman Randall out.
Yes.
Alderman Toler.
Yes.
Motion carried. Ordinance 3399.
Hold on a second. We need to get some clarity from you. Okay, what's the number for this one?
3399.
Okay, number 3399. And finally, a resolution authorizing the entering into a contract to fill a vacancy in the contracted for position of legislative counsel for the city of Harvey, county of Cook, state of Illinois, sponsored by Alderman Tolbert, Key, Randall, L. and Rogers.
So moved.
All right, motion by the sixth, second by the second, point of order by the first.
Thank you. I missed it on the last one, I didn't say it loud enough. On this resolution, 3399, it has Exhibit A. There's no contract, there's no note. I'm just saying, that's all I'm asking. I'm here. I have a question.
Alderman, yes, Alderman, go ahead.
Yes.
Waiting for your question.
My question it says Exhibit A. It doesn't mention the fee schedule. It doesn't mention anything, actually.
Alderman, I don't need you to answer those questions. Thank you.
Do you have it in your packet? Do you have it in your packet? Do you have the contract?
Yeah, I seen
What are we paying per hour?
I got it from the special meeting. I don't know. I know it's less than.
That's okay. Oh, it could be less, but you know you have to have X amount of dollars in a separate account and everything else with this contract?
You said you didn't see the contract. How you know?
I didn't, but I read his ordinance when he put it into the book. You know,
Alderman,
Lord have
that is,
mercy.
wait, hold on.
You do
Alderman
not
Love.
have that right to disrespect me and shake your hand like that.
That's right. That's right.
You have no right to do that. No, you do not have a right to do whatever you want. Oh, you're right. Okay, just going to vote. There was a first and
You
second.
can't let that stand, and you guys can't let that stand either.
That's right.
You guys are going to sit there and there's a vote on the floor.
There's a motion in a second.
Point of order, there's a
I
vote.
think
This
that
is
everybody
ridiculous.
needs to calm down.
But we've been doing a good job so far. All right?
You haven't been sitting here listening to these comments. There's a motion already on the floor.
So there's a motion and a second on the floor. Please call the roll.
Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderman Kuda. Alderman Toler. Alderman Randall L.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kowinski.
No.
Alderman Keith.
Yes.
Motion carried. Resolution number 2911.
And for the record, what was that?
291.
And to the extent that a vote was required by me on the last four, I think it's supposed to be four ordinances, if a vote was required, I voted no.
Can you explain your point in saying that?
Yes.
Under section 3.1-5-3-5 of the municipal code, there are 3 instances when the mayor votes. And the mayor can cast a vote when there's not a tie if at least 3 aldermen have voted in favor of something. So what he's saying is that with respect to the ordinance establishing the procedure for aldermen to add items to the council meeting agenda, the ordinance amending section 2-08-010-B, the ordinance about 3377, and then, was there a vote on the one about the legislative council? Without the, okay, that one also, he's just saying to the extent that the for him was permitted or required, he would vote no.
Okay, Ms. Clerk, please update us on the status of those votes there. Because
Yeah.
that would definitely change it.
Well, maybe not. Let's double check with the clerk. So, 3396, no, there would have been no vote. What was that? Well, no, number 3396 had all in favor. Those were all aye. 3396, that was, yeah. And then, go back. But then on 3397, we had 3 ayes, 1 nay, 1 abstain, and 1 it was still passed. Yeah, it was still passed. No, but I would be allowed to vote in that particular case. So my vote would be no in that particular case. 3-3. 97, 3397, right. And the same thing for 3398. So it wouldn't affect the outcome. It wouldn't affect the outcome at all. Okay. But just for the record, on those votes. So yeah,
Keep going.
yes. We don't have any executive session. There's no executive session. Motion to adjourn.
No. We got one to say.
No, we don't have it.
Oh, yeah, we do.
We do? We don't have any executive session. So a motion to adjourn.
I was under the impression that the removal of former chief Winters was going to be discussed in executive session.
No.
And here.
Can you explain why?
Yeah, why not?
Talk to
He's been removed from office and there was no vote to change that.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Weigh in at.
There was no vote taken at that particular time. I didn't say it. But what we did, so it's still not on the agenda, even if we were to come back to that. So if we decide for the council to place it on the agenda, we can do that at the next meeting. That's not an issue. That's what you want to do, because basically, from what I recall, it was tabled.
Yeah.
So it has to be removed from the table. And being removed from the table, then we can bring it back to the council.
I guess my question then would be, how do we remove it from the table? If it's put on the table, then shouldn't it have remained on the agenda? Why was it taken off the agenda if the matter was not being resolved?
Have no answer to that question.
Okay.
But I know one thing, we can correct it by putting it on the agenda for the next meeting. And that fixes that issue.
Okay.
I mean, unless we just want to quibble about why it was versus how we can fix it.
I'm just trying to understand the justification.
And we'll figure it out, council. And make sure that we make the necessary adjustments.
Thank you.
All right, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I made the motion.
Motion by the sixth, I guess, second by the first. Clerk, would you please call the roll.
Yes.
Alderman Tober?
Yes.
Alderman Keith? Alderman Randall Bell?
Yes.
Alderman Rogers?
Yes.
And adjourn at 10:07.